14 years for this. Anyways, spoiler review, no time wasted. What's in the bowl? Let's go. Actors and casting is what I picked up first. All I've got to say is the voices were irritating, and by that I mean Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible. The reason is the movie decides to, the sequel Incredibles 2 decides to take off right where the first one ended. Just, you know, seamlessly continue. No time jump, just, you know, no time gap. But obviously in real life, the actors have aged by 14 years, and you can hear it in their voices, especially Mr. Incredible. There's just something going on with his throat that sounds a bit weird. You can just tell he's getting old. And then Elastigirl herself, very, very irritating voice. And I know I'm not the only one that's saying this. My friend said it as well. Like, I don't know if the voice actor was punched in the mouth before her takes, or she lost about 3-4 teeth in these 14 years, but this is how she was speaking. Like, moving on. Cinematography and visual effects. Visual effects, there's no point really mentioning that as this animated movie, and this being Disney Pixar was amazing, fantastic, great. Every attention to detail was just spot on. I think you might have seen, you know, before Incredibles 2 released, there was this picture flying around of Mr. Incredible holding Jack, and you can see like the little details in Mr. Incredible's clothes, like the little strands of cloth just sticking out, and that's incredible. Little things like that. Incredible, pun intended, no pun intended, whatever. But anyways, cinematography now, that was great as well. And what really went with it was, you know, Elastigirl being the lead. And, you know, the cinematography was exciting, full of energy, flexible. Basically, everything Elastigirl is. The cinematography went well with the lead character, you know, just, I really enjoyed that. That's one of the best parts of this movie. Next. Action and pacing, again, that was good. That was decent. The action was decent actually, because I just don't feel like anything was epic, but it was good. It was just good. As for the pacing, that was also good. However, I did check my watch once, and yeah, man, it was decent. Next, would I watch again? Sorry, but the straight answer is no. I do not feel to watch this again at all. In fact, I'll tell you what, after getting home from watching this, I watched Incredibles 1 again. Why? To cleanse myself and to recap. Just to make sure that I wasn't remembering things wrong about how Incredibles 1 is a far better movie. Just more cooler, more epic, just, you know, just did it better. It's just better, simple as that. So would I watch again? No. My brother's even, you know, talking about, you know, taking, you know, all of our siblings out and, you know, watching Incredibles 2, and I'm like, I'm just, nah, not for me, sorry. We can do something else. Watch Incredibles 2 in your own time. I'm not watching it again. Next, was I ever bored? Like I said, I checked my watch once. I can't say I was stupidly bored or, you know, wanting to leave the cinema. Nah. But like I said, I checked my watch once. That's really it. I would say, you know what? Was I ever bored? Let's call it a no. Even though I checked my watch once. But I was just, you know, more of like, wait, isn't this movie kind of long? I think it's longer than the first one, but that's why I checked my watch, I think. So, yeah. Next. Audio and editing, no point speaking about this. It's an animated movie. Everything in terms of visual and audio should be spot on, and I had no complaints. That was great. Any memorable quotes? Hell no. Fuck no. I don't remember a single line from this movie. What, Jack laughing and, you know, laser beam, laser baby, boom, boom, boom. Is that what you call memorable quotes? No. In fact, the dialogue was so forgettable in this that there was a scene where, what's his name? Screenslaver was monologuing. That's when Elastigirl was tracking the source of the voice on the rooftops, and everything was just going through one ear and out the other. I was like, I'm not listening to this. Like, even the voice changer effects, just, it was just going through one ear and out the other. Like, I was completely zoned out. There's no dialogue to remember in this. Nothing. Any memorable quotes? Nah. One of these actually fell out. Yeah, here it is. Story and dialogue. Not gonna talk about the dialogue because I just did. Story. Right, so this is actually an important thing to talk about regarding the story. Before even watching this, I heard a lot about the, you know, feminism and SJW thing about this movie. And you know what, if you ask me, I don't think it's that bad. I don't. I did not feel like, you know, oh my god, this is pushing something down my throat. No. In fact, I actually quite like that Elastigirl was the lead this time. For any guys who are complaining about Mr. Incredible taking a back seat and Mr. Elastigirl, whatever, Elastigirl taking the lead, the spotlight, just remember that Incredibles 1, the movie, was actually Mr. Incredible's movie. It was all him, really. His family came to save him at the end, but it was all about him. I mean, his name is Mr. Incredible. The title of the movie is The Incredibles. So his family are The Incredibles. The Incredibles 1 is about Mr. Incredible. The Incredibles 2 is about Elastigirl. This is definitely her movie. I don't see what the problem is. However, towards the middle, when Elastigirl was talking to DevTech's, whatever his name is, sister, you know, the actual villain of the movie, the script actually mentioned it, and that's when I thought, like, why? You just ruined it. And what, yeah, so I guess that is a memorable quote. And the line is something like, she says to Elastigirl, oh, you was in Mr. Incredible's shadow, how do you feel now? Something like that. That's what the line was. Why? It was going all good up until then, like, just... Anyways. As for Mr. Incredible being a father, stay-at-home dad and struggling, again, I don't see what the problem is. To me, I actually found it quite touching. I found it different. Like, why shouldn't we have something different? You know, I did like the difference between the first and the second. However, I just feel like the story overall didn't deliver anything epic or as great as what the first one delivered, what the first one made me feel. So that's all I can really talk about the story. Again, also, that was incredibly, I keep saying incredibly, but anyways, that was mad predictable, the villain. I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought it was the man, DevTech, whoever his name is, I just can't remember because, yeah, whatever. But you know what I'm talking about, the man. I thought it was him. I thought Screenslaver was him. I said it to my friend. This is predictable, that's definitely who the villain is. Okay, fair enough, it was his sister, but it's still pretty much the same thing. Saw that come from a mile away, I guessed after that. Story, nah man. As for the humor, 95% of the humor comes from the baby, Jack. So yeah, just, I'm not really feeling this movie, as you can tell. And the last one here is, how could it be better? Better action, deeper stakes. The ending of this movie is pretty much about a ship crashing into land. Is that really the best threat they could come up with for the sequel? Last I checked, sequels were supposed to be bigger and better. Spider-Man 2, 2004. The Dark Knight, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Like John Wick 2, I can just go on and on. So this, I just feel like, no. And I'm not one of those guys who was begging for an incredible sequel. However, 14 years is how long it's been since the first one. And that doesn't mean that they worked on it for 14 years, but I'm willing to guess that maybe, you know, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, that's still a long time. And I'm expecting, or was expecting, a lot more. And like I said, I just wanted bigger and better. Otherwise, what's the point? You're tarnishing the name. Incredibles 2 ended with Frozone, Elastigirl, and Mr. Incredible stopping a ship from crashing into land. Is that what is supposed to be epic? And that's pretty much recycled from Incredibles 1. Like, in this movie, there's a scene where a train or whatever, a monorail, is about to crash. The same thing is in Incredibles 1, I swear to you. Just, man, recycled, uninspired, boring, irritating voices. Again, I'm gonna tell you, the feminism, if you can even call it that, or the SJW thing, did not bother me at all, apart from when it actually touched on it too on the nose with the dialogue, and the character said, you was in Mr. Incredible's shadow, how do you feel now? Like, so it's not about, if you're thinking that, oh, you're a man, that's why you don't like this movie. No, that did not bother me. I did not mind Mr. Incredible struggling with the kids at home. I actually felt that was touching, you know, him learning how to handle these things and, you know, seeing what a mother actually goes through. But Incredibles 2, again, just meh, incredibly meh. For me, anyway. So my rating is, and I thought about this deeply, a 3.5 out of 5. And for any of you who are obsessed about numbers, calm down, that's a 7 out of 10. That's still decent. So yeah, that's my rating. Incredibles 2, expected a lot more. I think it's tarnished the franchise. There could be a third, it looks like. Maybe the third will deliver on what this one didn't. And just to rewind, I just want to say it again, that this is a sequel, yeah? And the movie is about the family, right? The Incredibles. The Incredibles. Yet, the ending primarily focused on Frozone, the mum and the dad. What about Dash? What about Violet? What about Jack? Fair enough, they played a little part, but it was just too congested with all these other villains as well, which expand. Right, battery died. But what I was trying to close off with is, as I was saying, the movie just didn't feel that inclusive in terms of family and the closure of the ending. Like, with the first one, everyone felt involved. Everyone was trying to save the day. They were all, you know, pressing the remote, saying press that one, trying to save the day. With this one, it was kids, stay back, and it was just Frozone, Elastigirl, and Mr. Incredible who really saved the day. You know, what about Violet? What about Dash? What about Jack? You know, fair enough. Yeah, just weak third acts. No, you know, not overall, but in terms of stakes, come on, man, a ship going to crash into the land, that's, man, nah. I'm not feeling this movie. I'm not. This is the thing about reviews, like, as you feel like you're gonna end your reviews, more stuff might come to your mind. And what I will say is, the movie does expand the universe in terms of the supers, you know, with the side characters. I'm not gonna call them villains, but these side characters, you know, Void, Brick, the Crusher guy, they just, nah, man, they're just, like, if you watch Incredibles 1 and you see how creative they were with the side characters. So what I'm talking about is, on Syndrome's computer, Mr. Incredible is going through all the supers that his bot, his android, has defeated. And you see great names, great puns, such as Gazer Beam, other ones. I just can't remember them all, but that was creative. They looked cool. With this, I don't know why, but the supers just looked uninspired and ugly, like legit ugly. Like, you wouldn't even want to be saved by them if you was in danger. That's how mad it was. But yeah, man, I guess just I'm really disappointed with this movie. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just didn't do it for me. That's it. Incredibles 2, incredibly meh.